Hi dear. Welcome to your favorite audiobook channel, Wisdom Flicks. How to Become a People Magnet by Marc Reklau. Why read this book? Because it reveals how to naturally attract the right people, build lasting connections, and unlock the magnetic power already within you. If you want to be more confident, deeply likable, and effortlessly influential, this book is your guide. Introduction. The hidden superpower you didn't know you had. Think back to a time when you met someone who instantly drew you in. You didn't know them well. They didn't say anything particularly profound. And yet, something about them made you want to listen, lean in, and connect. It wasn't just their words. It was their presence, their energy, the way they made you feel. This is what it means to be a people magnet. And here's the surprising truth. You don't need to be rich, famous, attractive, or extroverted to become one. You already have the core of it within you, right now. You see, being magnetic isn't about tricks or pretending to be someone you're not. It's not about popularity contests or social media charisma. It's about developing a quiet power that lives inside you. A presence that others can sense the moment you enter a room. That's the hidden superpower most people never realize they have. It's the power to connect deeply, influence naturally, and leave lasting impressions without trying too hard. In a world filled with noise, distraction, and surface-level interaction, true human magnetism is rare, and rare things are valuable. This book is your guide to discovering and refining that value in yourself. Why some people naturally attract others. You've seen it happen. A person walks into a meeting, a coffee shop, or a social gathering, and somehow people are drawn to them. They may not say much. They may not be the loudest voice in the room, but they exude a kind of confidence, a kind of warmth, a calm energy that others notice. It's easy to assume they were just born that way. But the reality is, magnetic people aren't born. They're built. They've learned certain principles, developed specific habits, and practiced self-awareness. They've made conscious decisions about how they show up in the world, how they speak, how they listen, and how they make others feel. And the good news is, you can learn to do the same. The core of magnetism is emotional energy at the heart of. Human magnetism is something simple yet powerful. Emotional energy. People don't just respond to what you say. They respond to how you say it, to your tone, your presence, your body language, your emotional state. When you're calm, others feel safe. When you're confident, others feel trust. When you're curious, others feel seen. And when you're grounded, others feel drawn in. It's not about faking any of these things. It's about cultivating them genuinely from the inside out. True charisma begins long before you open your mouth. It begins with how you think, how you see yourself, how you feel in your own skin. Why this book matters right now. We live in a hyper-connected, yet deeply disconnected world. Social media lets us communicate with thousands of people in seconds. But real, face-to-face connection? It's becoming rare. We're more distracted, more rushed, and more anxious than ever before. And that's exactly why being a people magnet matters so much today. Because when you become the person who is fully present, deeply engaged, and emotionally intelligent, you stand out. You become unforgettable in the best possible way. Whether you're trying to make new friends, lead a team, attract clients, build relationships, or simply feel more confident in social situations, these skills will elevate every area of your life. They are not just tools for success. They are tools for connection, meaning, and fulfillment. Who this book is for? This book is for anyone who wants to improve their ability to connect with others, naturally and authentically. It's for the person who's ever walked away from a conversation thinking, I wish I knew what to say. It's for the person who feels overlooked in social settings, meetings, or networking events. It's for the person who wants to attract opportunities, friendships, and relationships without forcing anything. And it's for the person who's tired of trying to be someone they're not, just to fit in. You don't need to be the most outgoing person in the room. You don't need to memorize clever lines or wear a mask of confidence. You just need to uncover the magnetic potential that already lives inside you and practice the habits that bring it to life. That's what this book will help you do. What you'll discover throughout the chapters ahead. You'll learn how to develop the key traits of magnetic individuals. That you'll discover how to build unshakable confidence from the inside out, speak in ways that captivate attention, and earn trust, read people, and respond with emotional intelligence. Use your body language and presence to create lasting impressions. Become instantly likable without changing who you are. Influence people without trying to control them. Create deeper, more meaningful connections everywhere you go. Each chapter is filled with practical advice, real-world examples, and small changes you can start making immediately. Be why the end. You won't just understand what makes someone magnetic. You'll be living it, breathing it, and watching others respond in ways you may have never experienced before. The journey ahead. Becoming a people magnet is not about perfection. It's about progress, consistent, intentional progress. You don't need to master every skill overnight, but every insight you practice, every habit you form, and every mindset you shift will move you closer to the version of yourself that naturally attracts others. This journey is personal. It's about becoming more grounded, more aware, and more attuned to your own value and to the emotional world of those around you. There is no gimmick in this book, no shortcuts, no magic tricks, just timeless principles grounded in psychology and human behavior, designed to help you connect in ways that are powerful and lasting. So let's begin. The magnetic version of you is already there, waiting to be unlocked. Let's open that door one chapter at a time. Chapter 1. Understanding the magnetic mindset. Before you can walk into a room and draw people in, before you can speak with confidence, listen with presence, or influence with ease, you must first understand one critical truth. Your mindset shapes your magnetism. Magnetism doesn't begin with how you speak or what you wear. It begins with how you think. It's the thoughts you hold, the beliefs you carry, the way you see yourself, and the way you assume others see you. In other words, you attract based on what you believe you deserve. And this is where everything begins. What is the magnetic mindset? The magnetic mindset is a way of thinking that centers around internal power. It's built on a quiet, unshakable belief that your presence has value, even before you prove anything. People who have this mindset are not desperate to be liked. They're not performing for approval. They aren't pretending to be confident. They are confident because they know their worth doesn't depend on anyone else's reaction. This mindset makes you emotionally grounded, socially fluid, and naturally attractive. People sense your calm. They feel your certainty. They lean into your energy without knowing exactly why. That's the real power of magnetism. It's not loud. It's not pushy. It simply pulls people in. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. Think of yourself as a radio tower. You're constantly broadcasting emotional signals, even when you're silent. That if you're full of insecurity, you unconsciously radiate self-doubt. If you're constantly comparing yourself to others, that insecurity leaks into your voice, your posture, your eye contact. If you carry a belief that people won't like you, you behave in ways that make it harder for them to connect with you, even if you're not aware of it. But when you operate from a place of confidence, ease, and presence, the opposite happens. You draw others in without needing to say much. You give off the vibe of someone who's whole, self-assured, and unafraid to be authentic. People are not drawn to neediness. They're drawn to wholeness. And wholeness begins with how you think about yourself. The inner dialogue that shapes your outer world. What's your self-talk like when you enter a room full of people? What do you assume they think of you before you say anything? Do you expect to be liked, or do you brace yourself for rejection? These questions matter more than you think, because your assumptions create your energy, and your energy influences every interaction you have. A magnetic person walks into a room and thinks, I'm comfortable here. I have something valuable to offer. I don't need everyone to like me. I just need to be fully present. That kind of thinking creates a natural ease, a quiet confidence, and others can feel it, even if you don't say a word. Releasing the need for approval. One of the biggest blocks to becoming magnetic is the need to be liked. It's understandable. We all want to be accepted. We all want to feel seen and valued. But when your identity depends on how others respond to you, you become a prisoner to their approval. And here's the paradox. The more you chase approval, the less magnetic you become. People can sense desperation. They can feel when you're trying too hard. It creates tension instead of attraction. True magnetism comes from a place of detachment, not indifference, but freedom. Freedom from needing to perform. Freedom from needing to be perfect. Freedom from trying to impress. When you can walk into any space and be okay with who you are, even if no one compliments you, flocks to you, or validates you. That's when you become powerful, because your energy no longer seeks validation. It radiates wholeness. Energy speaks louder than words worry. Taught to focus on what to say. The perfect opening line. The right thing to say in conversations. The clever responses. But most people forget the most important part of communication. Your energy. Energy isn't mystical. It's real, and people pick up on it faster than words. A nervous smile can feel insincere. An overly rehearsed compliment can feel manipulative. A confident silence can feel more powerful than 1,000 words. People aren't just listening to your words. They're reading your tone, your posture, your eye contact, your breathing, your pacing. All of this comes from within. And your inner state becomes your social state. This is why changing your mindset changes how people experience you. Developing the magnetic mindset. Let's explore some foundational beliefs that shape the magnetic mindset. 1. I belong here. Whether you're in a high-stakes meeting, a party full of strangers, or a small conversation, adopt the belief that you belong in that space. You don't need to earn it. You're already enough. This belief helps you stay grounded, relaxed, and open. People are drawn to those who feel at home in their own skin. Point 2. I have value, even when I'm silent. Magnetic people don't overtalk or overshare. They're not afraid of silence because they know their worth isn't tied to filling space. This calm presence is rare and powerful. Point 3. I don't need everyone to like me. Trying to impress. Everyone is exhausting and unnecessary. Not everyone will resonate with you, and that's okay. When you stop chasing validation, the right people begin to chase you. Point 4. I focus on giving, not getting. Instead of thinking, how can I get people to like me? Think, how can I make others feel seen, heard, and valued? That shift alone changes your energy completely. Magnetism is a byproduct of giving, not grabbing. The two versions of you inside you are two versions. The version that is anxious, self-critical, and unsure, and the version that is confident, grounded, and magnetic. The first one is loud. It questions everything you say and do. The second one is quiet, but powerful. This book will help you amplify that second voice. But you must begin by believing that version of you is real and reachable, because it is. Practice. Reset your internal voice. Take a moment. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Now, imagine walking into a room where you feel completely safe, fully seen, and totally respected. Imagine that people naturally gravitate toward you. You're not trying to be anything. You're just being. That version of you is not a fantasy. It's your natural self, beneath the layers of insecurity, fear, and performance. Start each day with this visualization. Feel it, live it, then bring that energy into the real world. Practice this mindset consistently, and your outer world will start to reflect your inner shift. Final thoughts for this chapter. Becoming magnetic doesn't begin with learning new tricks. It begins with shifting old beliefs. You don't attract others by pretending to be perfect. You attract others by being comfortable in your imperfection, by owning your presence, by trusting your voice, by knowing that who you are is enough, and then some. The magnetic mindset is already inside you. This chapter is just the beginning of uncovering it. Chapter 2. The art of deep listening. If there's one habit that instantly sets magnetic people apart, it's this. They listen. Truly, deeply, and completely. In a world filled with noise, interruptions, and half attention, deep listening feels like a rare gift. And that's exactly what it is, a gift. One that builds trust, fosters connection, and makes others feel seen. That if you want to become a people magnet, forget about trying to sound interesting. Start by becoming interested. Because the most attractive people in any room aren't those who talk the most. They're the ones who listen the best. Why deep listening is magnetic? Most people don't actually listen. They wait for their turn to speak. They nod while preparing their response. They hear the words, but miss the meaning. But magnetic people, they listen to understand, not to reply. And this subtle shift changes everything. When someone feels truly heard, something powerful happens. Their walls come down. They feel safe. They feel respected. They start to trust you. Almost immediately, that's the foundation of all human connection. If you can make someone feel heard, you've already made them feel important. And when someone feels important around you, they remember you. They want to be near you. That's the power of deep listening. What most people do wrong, let's be honest. Most of us think we're good listeners. But what we're really doing is waiting for a pause, planning our reply, or zoning out halfway through a sentence that we might nod, smile, say uh-huh. But that's not true listening. Here are the most common mistakes people make in conversation: interrupting or finishing someone else's sentence, judging or mentally critiquing what's being said, fixing the problem too soon, without allowing the other person to express themselves, topping their story with your own, distracting yourself. By checking your phone or glancing around the room, all of these behaviors send one loud message: I'm not fully present with you. Magnetic people do the opposite. They slow down, tune in, and give the speaker their full, undivided attention. What deep listening actually looks like. So, what does deep listening really involve? Let's break it down into a few clear, actionable habits. Point 1. Be fully present. Put the phone down. Stop scanning the room. Give your eyes, ears, and body to the moment. Presence is rare, and presence makes people feel prioritized. When you give someone your full presence, even for a few minutes, you create a memorable experience. Point 2. Listen with your eyes, not just your ears. Words only make up part of communication. Tone, facial expressions, and body language carry far more meaning. Watch their posture. Notice their breathing. Pay attention to pauses, hesitations, or nervous habits. These subtle cues reveal more than words ever could. When you observe with care, you begin to understand people on a deeper level, without them needing to explain everything. Point 3. Let silence do some of the talking. Magnetic listeners aren't afraid of silence. They understand that sometimes the most powerful moment in a conversation is the pause. When someone shares something meaningful, don't rush to respond. Let the silence settle. Let it breathe. In that space, people often reveal their truest thoughts. That's where real connection lives. Point 4. Reflect and acknowledge. A powerful way to show someone you're listening is by reflecting back what they said, not parroting, but summarizing with care. For example, that sounds really frustrating. You put in all that work and didn't get recognized. You're saying you felt left out even though you tried to be part of it. Is that right? This shows empathy, accuracy, and presence. It also encourages the speaker to go deeper, knowing you're actually hearing them. Listening is an emotional act. Listening isn't just about gathering information. It's about giving validation. When you truly listen, you send the message: you matter, your story matters, your feelings matter. That's rare, and that's why it's magnetic. People walk around all day feeling invisible. But if you can, be the one who sees them, hears them, and holds space for them, you instantly stand out. You don't have to fix their problems. You don't have to give advice. You just have to care enough to hear them. The 3 levels of listening. Let's go even deeper. There are 3 levels of listening. Most people never get past the first, level 1. Internal listening. This is when you're listening, but your focus is still on yourself. You're hearing the other person, but you're thinking, how does this affect me? What am I going to say next? How do I look while they're talking? It's not wrong. It's just limited. Level 2. Focused listening. Now, your attention is on the speaker. You're hearing their words, watching their body language, tuning in to their tone. You're fully present in the conversation. This is where trust is built. Level 3. Intuitive listening. At this level, you go beyond words. You listen not just to what's said, but to what's unsaid. You pick up on emotions, subtle shifts, and deeper meanings. This is where the truly magnetic listeners live. They connect with people in ways that feel intuitive, even healing. When you reach this level, people walk away from conversations with you saying, I don't know what it is, but I just feel so comfortable around you. That's magnetism in motion. Practical ways to practice deep listening. Let's turn insight into action. Here are a few ways you can strengthen your listening skills starting today. When someone talks to you, pause and count to 2 before replying. This trains your brain to listen before reacting. In every conversation, challenge yourself to ask at least one meaningful follow-up question. Put your phone out of sight during conversations. Even seeing it can distract your focus. Repeat back the main point in your own words. It shows you're processing, not just hearing. Avoid interrupting, even when you're excited or think. You know what they'll say? Let them finish. Small habits, practiced consistently, create lasting transformation. The fastest way to win people over. There's a famous saying, people may forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. When you deeply listen to someone, you make them feel understood. And that feeling is unforgettable that you'll find that when you stop trying to be interesting and start being genuinely interested, people will open up to you in ways they never have before. They'll feel drawn to you. They'll trust you, and they'll want to be around you without knowing exactly why. That is the art of deep listening, and that is one of the most powerful ways to become a people magnet. Chapter 3: The Power of Charismatic Body Language. Before you say a single word, people already have an opinion about you. It happens in an instant, within seconds of entering a room, joining a conversation, or simply walking past someone. That opinion isn't based on your intelligence, your resume, or even your personality. It's based on something far more immediate: your body language. Body language is your silent messenger. It speaks before you do, and in many cases, it speaks louder than anything you could ever say. That if your goal is to become magnetic, to command attention, build trust, and connect with others naturally, then mastering your nonverbal communication is essential, because people don't just listen to your words. They listen to you, your posture, your presence, your energy. Let's unlock this silent language together. Why body language matters more than words. According to various studies on human communication, as much as 70 to 90% of our communication is nonverbal. That means most of what we communicate is not about what we say. It's about how we look, move, and carry ourselves. People make snap decisions about you based on how you enter a room, how you stand or sit, whether you make eye contact, the expression on your face, the movement of your hands, the rhythm of your breathing, even the space you occupy. This isn't about being fake or overly polished. It's about becoming intentional with the signals your body is already sending, so they match the message you want to convey. What charismatic body language looks like. Charismatic body language isn't about being big or dramatic. It's about being aligned. When your outer signals match your inner confidence, people feel drawn to you. Here are the core principles of magnetic body language. 1. Stand tall, but relaxed posture is the first thing people notice. A magnetic person stands with their shoulders back, spine straight, chest open, but without looking stiff or robotic. This posture communicates confidence, openness, calm. Authority, on the other hand, slouching or collapsing your shoulders signals insecurity, shyness, or defensiveness, even if that's not how you actually feel. When you stand tall, you claim your space, and people instinctively take notice. Point 2. Master your eye contact. Eye contact is one of the most powerful tools in your nonverbal toolkit. Used well, it builds trust. Used poorly, it creates discomfort. Charismatic people maintain strong but comfortable eye contact. They're not staring, they're connecting. Think of it as warm presence through the eyes. When someone speaks, give them your full gaze, not just occasional glances. When you speak, let your eyes communicate sincerity and confidence. Avoid darting eyes, which signal anxiety. Avoid staring too long, which can feel aggressive. Instead, maintain a natural rhythm, holding eye contact 60 to 70% of the time, and occasionally glancing away to pause, then returning. This shows you're confident, composed, and emotionally present. Point 3. Use open gestures. Open body language sends a simple message: I have nothing to hide. Magnetic people use their hands when they speak. They gesture in a way that feels natural and expressive, not forced. Here's what that looks like: hands visible and relaxed, not hidden in pockets or behind the back, palms facing slightly upward when making a point, signaling honesty. Smooth, deliberate movements instead of fast, jerky ones. Avoid crossing your arms, which creates a psychological barrier. Avoid fidgeting, tapping, or clasping your hands tightly. These reveal nervousness. The goal is to look comfortable in your skin, because when you feel at ease, others feel at ease. 2.4. Facial expressions that reflect emotion. Your face speaks volumes. A slight smile can open doors faster than any introduction. Raised eyebrows show curiosity. A nod shows agreement. Magnetic people use their face to mirror emotion and show engagement. Avoid blank expressions or forced smiles. Instead, think of your face as a reflection of the moment. Let it move naturally, responding to the tone of the conversation. The best listeners don't just nod, they emote. They look surprised, amused, thoughtful, or concerned, matching the energy of the speaker. That emotional mirroring builds a subconscious bridge. It makes people feel deeply connected, even without knowing why. The energy behind the movement, here's something most people miss. Body language is not just physical, it's emotional. You can't fake confidence with posture alone. You must feel it. You can't pretend to be relaxed with tense shoulders. You have to breathe it in. That's why becoming magnetic starts with your internal state. When your mind is calm, your body follows. When your heart is open, your gestures reflect it. When you believe you belong in any room, your presence communicates that. Before you speak, your thoughts shape your posture. Your posture shapes your energy, and your energy shapes your relationships. That's the full body loop of magnetism, creating an aura of presence. Charismatic body language isn't about being flashy or dominant. It's about being fully present. Think about the last time you were in conversation with someone who made you feel like you were the only person in the world. They weren't distracted. They weren't rushing. They were with you. That's presence. And it's magnetic. Here's how to build it. Breathe deeply and slowly. Calm breath leads to calm energy. Keep your movements intentional. No rushing. No jittering. Square your body toward the person you're engaging with. Don't glance at your phone, watch, or surroundings unless necessary. Presence doesn't need volume. It needs stillness, focus, energy, and people can feel it, even across the room. The role of personal space. Another key element of body language is proximity, the space between you and others. Magnetic people are highly aware of personal space. They don't invade it, and they don't retreat unnecessarily. They adjust based on the context and emotional comfort of the other person. In most situations, about one arm's length is a good default. In close relationships, people tolerate shorter distances. In professional or formal settings, a little more space is often respected. Being attuned to space shows social intelligence. It makes people feel emotionally safe, and emotional safety creates trust. Practice makes presence. No one masters body language overnight. It's a process of self-awareness, adjustment, and refinement. Start small. Notice how you sit, stand, and gesture in daily conversations. Practice speaking with open palms and relaxed shoulders. Use a mirror to observe your facial expressions while you speak. Record yourself during video calls to review your nonverbal habits. Don't be critical, just be curious. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is authentic alignment, where what you feel, what you think, and how you move are all in harmony. That's what draws people in. That's charisma you don't have to force. Final thoughts for this chapter. You don't need to memorize 100 different poses or gestures. You don't need to act like someone else. You just need to own your space, tune into your energy, and let your body speak with confidence and care. Because long before people hear your voice, they hear your presence. And when your body language communicates warmth, ease, and authenticity, people don't just hear you, they feel you. That's the silent power of charisma. And now, you have the tools to express it. Chapter 4. Emotional intelligence is your social currency. In every conversation, in every relationship, in every human connection, there is one skill that quietly determines your success. It's not how clever you are. It's not how charming you appear. It's not even how good your intentions are. It's your emotional intelligence. Your ability to recognize, understand, and respond to emotions, both in yourself and in others. If charisma is your outer presence, emotional intelligence is the inner compass that guides it. It's what keeps you from overreacting. It's what helps you stay calm when others are heated. It's what allows you to read a room, sense a shift in mood, or comfort someone without them saying a word. And in a world that often feels emotionally chaotic, emotional intelligence is more valuable than ever. It's your true social currency, and it's one of the strongest tools for becoming a people magnet. What exactly is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence, or EQ, is often misunderstood. It's not about being overly emotional. It's not about being soft or passive. At its core, emotional intelligence is made up of 5 main abilities: self-awareness, understanding your own feelings, triggers, and emotional patterns; self-regulation, managing your emotions in healthy, thoughtful ways; motivation, staying emotionally resilient, even in the face of stress or setbacks; empathy, sensing and understanding what others are feeling; social skills, navigating conversations, conflicts, and connections with grace. When you strengthen these areas, you don't just become a better communicator. You become the kind of person people want around them. The kind of person who calms storms, who inspires trust, who leaves others feeling understood. That's the real magnetism of EQ. Why emotional intelligence is so magnetic. Everyone has emotions, but not everyone knows what to do with them. People are constantly feeling things: anxiety, joy, shame, excitement, fear, hope. But most of the time, they can't put those feelings into words. They just feel, and they look to the people around them for how to respond. If you're the person who can stay centered when others are scattered, if you're the person who can listen without judging, respond without reacting, and connect without needing to control, then you become a rare presence, a trusted energy, a grounding force. That's what magnetic people are. They don't create drama, they dissolve it. The first step: mastering self-awareness. You can't understand others if you don't first understand yourself. That self-awareness means being able to notice your emotions as they happen, instead of getting swept away by them. It's the difference between reacting and responding. Reactive people get triggered easily. They snap, they shut down, they take things personally. But self-aware people pause. They reflect. They ask themselves, why am I feeling this way? What story am I telling myself? What's the truth beneath this emotion? When you understand your own emotional patterns, you gain freedom. You're no longer controlled by your mood. You become the observer, not just the participant. That kind of emotional maturity is magnetic. It creates safety. People trust those who don't get easily rattled. The art of self-regulation. It's one thing to feel something. It's another thing to manage that feeling with wisdom. Self-regulation is the ability to calm yourself when you're anxious, slow yourself down when you're angry, and choose your response even in uncomfortable situations. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means guiding them, so you don't let a moment of frustration damage a relationship or a flash of jealousy ruin your presence. Emotionally intelligent people use these simple tools to regulate themselves. Breath control, deep, intentional. Breathing slows your nervous system and restores clarity. Mental reframing. Instead of thinking, they're ignoring me, try, maybe they're having a hard day. Deliberate pausing. Give yourself a moment before you speak or react. Silence can prevent regret. When others see you stay composed under pressure, they see strength. Not the loud kind, the kind that earns quiet respect. Empathy. The emotional bridge. Empathy is not the same as sympathy. Sympathy says, I feel bad for you. Empathy says, I feel with you. It's the ability to step into someone else's emotional world, even if just for a moment. To sit with their joy or their pain without needing to fix it. When you're empathetic, people feel seen. They feel safe. They feel like they don't need to perform around you. You become the person they turn to, the one who gets it. And that kind of understanding is rare. That's why it's magnetic. Here's how you can practice empathy in everyday moments. Ask deeper questions. That sounds hard. How are you really doing with it? Listen without interrupting or offering advice. Unless asked, mirror their emotion gently. I can tell this really matters to you. Empathy doesn't mean absorbing everyone's pain. It means acknowledging it. And that alone is healing. Reading the emotional room. Emotional intelligence also means being able to read the subtle emotional cues around you. Sometimes people won't say what they're feeling, but their body language, tone, pace, and posture will say it all. A magnetic person walks into a room and senses the emotional atmosphere immediately. Is the room tense or light? Is the person you're speaking to distracted, nervous, or open? Is now the right moment to make a joke or to listen silently? This skill is like emotional radar, and it makes you incredibly adaptable in conversations, interviews, presentations, and personal relationships. How do you build it? Practice being an emotional observer. Pay attention to tone shifts, body language changes, micro expressions. Ask yourself, what's really going on here beneath the words? The more tuned in you are to the emotional world, the more trust you'll build without needing to force connection. Emotional intelligence in conflict. Here's where EQ becomes most visible. Conflict. Anyone can be calm when things are easy. But how do you respond when someone criticizes you? When tension rises? When you're misunderstood? Emotionally intelligent people don't avoid conflict. They navigate it. They do this by listening first, even when attacked, asking questions. Before making assumptions, speaking from emotion instead of blame, using I feel instead of you always. And most importantly, they aim to understand before trying to be understood. This creates emotional safety. And people gravitate toward those who can disagree without disrespect. Your emotional energy speaks before you do. People can feel you before they hear you. They can feel if you're anxious, judgmental, calm, curious, or present. That energy isn't always verbal, but it's real. The more emotionally intelligent you become, the more control you have over the energy you radiate. You don't walk into a room and take on everyone's emotions. You walk in and influence the emotional tone with your calm, balanced presence. That's why EQ is a superpower. It's how you shape not just your words, but the experience others have around you. Practical ways to build your emotional intelligence. Let's turn insight into action. Here are a few daily practices to grow your EQ. Daily emotional check-ins. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Labeling emotions helps you understand them. Pause before responding. In any emotionally charged situation, give yourself space. Even 5 seconds can change your reaction. Reflect after conversations. Ask yourself, what emotions came up for me? For them, what could I have done differently? Practice empathy daily. Try to understand one person's experience each day without offering advice. Just listen. Observe without judging. When someone is upset or emotional, see if you can stay grounded without reacting or taking it personally. These small acts build emotional muscles. Over time, they make you more grounded, more connected, and more magnetic. Final thoughts for this chapter. People will forget what you said. They'll forget what you wore, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Emotional intelligence is not a soft skill. It's a power skill. It makes people feel safe, seen, and supported. And when people feel those things around you, they want to be near you. They trust you. They open up to you. They remember you. That is the quiet, powerful magnetism of emotional intelligence. And now, it's a tool you can use in every area of your life. Chapter 5. The confidence switch. What makes someone walk into a room and instantly command attention? What makes a person speak and others lean in to listen? Even when their words are simple, it's not luck. It's not background. It's not even natural talent. It's confidence, but not the fake kind. Not the kind that puffs up and pretends. We're talking about authentic confidence, the quiet certainty that says, I know who I am, and I belong here. This chapter is about unlocking that part of you, because confidence is not a personality trait. It's a switch, one that anyone can learn to turn on, and once you do, you become magnetic, not because you're trying to impress others, but because you're no longer trying to hide from them. What confidence actually means. Let's start by clearing up a common myth. Confidence is not arrogance. Arrogance says, I'm better than you. Confidence says, I'm comfortable with me. True confidence is grounded. It doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need constant validation. It simply exists, calm, steady, and sure. That it's the belief that you have value, that your presence matters, that you're allowed to take up space. And once you own that belief, your energy changes. People feel it. They trust it. They're drawn to it, even if they don't know why. The confidence myth. You have it or you don't. Many people think confidence is something you're either born with or not. But that's not true. Confidence is a skill, and like any skill, it can be practiced, developed, and strengthened. That it's built through small wins, repeated exposure, courage in uncomfortable moments. It's not about being fearless. It's about acting despite the feared. If you've ever thought, I'm just not a confident person, understand this. You don't need to wait for confidence to show up. You can build it, and you can switch it on anytime, anywhere. The moment you decide to show up, the confidence switch is an internal decision. It's the moment you stop hiding and start showing up. Imagine this. You're about to enter a room full of strangers. You feel the familiar nerves creeping in. You're tempted to shrink, to stay quiet, to fade into the background. But instead, you pause, you breathe, and you say to yourself, I have a place here. I'm not here to impress anyone. I'm here to be fully present. That single mindset shift can transform your posture, your energy, and your presence. Confidence isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's the silent decision to stop apologizing for your existence. The 3 pillars of the confidence switch. There are 3 internal shifts that activate real, lasting confidence. Let's explore them. Point 1. Self-acceptance. I am enough. As I am confidence starts with the decision to stop fighting yourself. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You simply need to accept who you are, flaws, quirks, and all. Self-acceptance isn't passive. It's powerful. Because the moment you stop judging yourself, you stop fearing the judgment of others. Say it aloud if you have to. I am allowed to take up space. I am enough, even when I'm growing. That belief is magnetic. Point 2. Self-trust. I can handle what comes. Confidence doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from trusting that you can handle anything. You might not know what someone will say. You might not control the outcome. But you trust yourself to show up, adapt, and respond. That trust frees you from fear. It makes you bold. It reminds you that mistakes don't define you. Recovery does. Self-trust says, I've been through worse, and I'm still here. I'll figure it out. And others feel that steadiness. They admire it. They gravitate toward it. Point 3. Self-expression. I have nothing to prove. When you stop performing and start expressing, your confidence becomes effortless. Magnetic people don't try to say the perfect thing. They speak from presence. They share from real experience. They express instead of impress. They don't dominate conversations. They elevate them. True confidence is quiet and contagious. It says, here's who I am. Take it or leave it. I'm good either way. Activating the confidence switch in the moment. So how do you actually flip the switch, especially when anxiety or doubt creeps in? Here's a simple 3-step process. You can use any time. Step 1. Ground yourself physically before you enter a room, speak, or engage. Pause. Take a slow, deep breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Roll your shoulders back. Unclench your jaw. This grounds your nervous system and signals safety to your body. Step 2. Reset your self-talk. Confidence isn't just body language. It's internal language. Replace, what if they don't like me, with, what if I have something valuable to offer? What if I just enjoy being here? I don't need approval. I need presence. Speak to yourself the way a confident coach would speak to you. Be on your own team. Step 3. Choose to show up boldly. Confidence is a choice. You can choose to shrink, or you can choose to stand in your value. Even if your hands shake, even if your heart races, the act of showing up reinforces the belief, I can do this. The more you practice, the faster you'll build real confidence. Not from pretending to be someone else, but from becoming more you. The confidence loop. Confidence creates action. Action creates experience. Experience creates more confidence. It's a loop. And it starts with taking that first small step. Before you feel fully ready, speak up in the meeting. Introduce yourself at the event. Share your ideas, even when your voice trembles. Every time you do something that scares you a little, your confidence grows. Not because you didn't feel fear, but because you moved anyway. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that fear won't stop you. What confidence feels like to others. When you flip the confidence switch, others feel it. You take up space without apologizing. You speak with clarity, not with neediness. You listen without rushing to prove yourself. You laugh more because you're not overthinking. You connect more deeply because you're not hiding. And suddenly, people are drawn to you. They admire your calm. They respect your honesty. They feel safe around you because your confidence puts them at ease. That's magnetic. Final thoughts for this chapter. You don't have to wait for confidence. You build it. You build it by accepting yourself, by trusting your resilience, by expressing yourself without fear of judgment. And when you flip that internal switch, when you decide, I'm going to show up fully, everything changes. People stop seeing someone who's trying to be confident. They start seeing someone who simply is, because confidence isn't a mask. It's your natural state, once you stop covering it up. Chapter 6. Becoming instantly likable. Imagine walking into a room and immediately feeling welcomed. People smile when they see you. Conversations flow effortlessly. Doors open without struggle. What if you could cultivate that kind of instant likability? The good news is, you can. Being likable isn't about trying to please everyone or being fake. It's about connecting authentically and showing others the best parts of yourself. In this chapter, we'll explore the simple but powerful habits that make people like you right away and want to be around you again and again. Why likability matters. Being likable is the foundation of all strong relationships, whether personal, professional, or casual. It's the grease that smooths social interactions, helps you build trust faster, and opens doors that might otherwise stay closed. People gravitate toward those who make them feel good. They want to work with them, befriend them, and support them. When you become instantly likable, you build a positive reputation effortlessly. You become a person others want in their circle. The myth of being yourself, you've probably heard. The advice, just be yourself. While this sounds simple, many people misunderstand what it means. Being yourself doesn't mean sharing everything or acting without awareness. It means showing your best self, your authentic self, yes, but also your most thoughtful and considerate self. Likable people aren't perfect. They just show up with kindness, curiosity, and respect for others. The 5 keys to becoming instantly likable. Let's break down the key habits that instantly boost your likability. 1. Smile. Genuinely, a smile is one of the fastest ways to make a positive impression, but the smile has to be real. Fake smiles are easy to spot. They don't reach the eyes, and they feel hollow. True smiles engage the whole face, especially the eyes. They communicate warmth and openness. Smiling not only makes others feel welcomed, it also changes your own brain chemistry, releasing feel-good hormones that boost your mood and confidence. Try this. Next time you greet someone, smile before you say a word. Notice how it softens their expression and invites connection. Point 2. Use people's names. There's nothing more magnetic than hearing your own name, that it's personal. It signals attention. It shows respect. Make it a habit to remember and use names in conversation. Even if you forget later, the effort itself is noticed and appreciated. When you say someone's name during a conversation, it creates a subtle but powerful bond. Try. That's a great point, Sarah. Or, thanks for sharing that, David. 3. Show genuine interest. People love to talk about themselves, especially when the listener is truly interested. Ask open-ended questions that invite stories, opinions, and feelings. Examples. What's something exciting you're working on right now? How did you get into that hobby? What's been the highlight of your week so far? Then, listen deeply. Don't just wait for your turn to speak. Remember, genuine curiosity is magnetic. Point 4. Be positive without overdoing it. Positivity attracts people, but insincerity repels them. Likable people focus on uplifting topics without pretending everything is perfect. They avoid excessive complaining, gossip, or negativity. Use uplifting language and look for common ground. A positive vibe makes people want to stay close to you. Try to balance honesty with optimism. For example, yes, today was challenging, but I'm learning a lot from it. 5. Practice humility. Confidence and humility aren't opposites. They work together. Likable people aren't boastful. They admit when they don't know something. They give credit to others. They laugh at their own mistakes. Humility creates approachability. It shows that you're relatable and down to earth, not untouchable or intimidating. The subtle power of mirroring. Mirroring is the unconscious imitation of another person's body language, speech patterns, or attitudes. When done naturally and respectfully, mirroring builds rapport instantly. It tells the other person, I'm like you. We're connected. For example, if someone speaks slowly and softly, matching their pace and tone helps create comfort. If they lean forward slightly, a gentle lean forward from you signals engagement. Be careful not to mimic awkwardly. Mirroring works best when subtle and genuine. Listening as a likability superpower. As we learned in Chapter 2, deep listening is magnetic. But here, let's emphasize its role in likability. When you listen without interrupting, judge, or distract, people feel valued. They feel safe to be themselves around you. And people like those who make them feel safe. The importance of authentic compliments. Compliments are social currency. When sincere, they make others feel appreciated and noticed. But forced or generic compliments feel hollow. Be specific and authentic. For example, I really admire how patient you are in stressful situations. Or, that color looks fantastic on you. It really suits your style. A well-timed compliment can brighten someone's day and create a lasting positive association. The role of humor. Humor is a powerful social tool. It lowers defenses. It builds bonds. You don't need to be a comedian. Even light, gentle humor, like a smile, a shared joke, or playful teasing, can break the ice. Just be mindful of the context and audience. Avoid sarcasm or humor at others' expense. How to handle awkward moments. No one is perfect. Awkward pauses, stumbles, or silences happen. Magnetic people handle these moments with grace. Instead of rushing to fill silence, they relax into it. They might smile, make a light comment, or ask a simple question. This calm presence turns awkwardness into a chance to deepen connection. Daily practices to boost likability. Here are a few habits to practice starting today. Smile at strangers and colleagues. Use at least one person's name in every conversation. Ask open-ended questions and listen fully. Compliment someone sincerely every day. Observe and mirror subtle body language cues. Stay mindful of your positivity balance. Embrace humility in your interactions. Final thoughts for this chapter: becoming instantly likable isn't about changing who you are. It's about amplifying your natural warmth, curiosity, and kindness. When you practice these habits, you make others feel good. And that's a gift everyone remembers. The more you give, the more magnetic you become. Chapter 7. Magnetic storytelling. Stories are the oldest and most powerful form of connection between people. They transcend cultures, languages, and time. From ancient campfires to modern boardrooms, stories have shaped how we understand each other and ourselves. That if you want to be truly magnetic, you need to become a master storyteller. Why? Because stories do what facts and figures can't. They capture attention, evoke emotion, and inspire action. In this chapter, you'll learn how to craft and share stories that draw people in, make you unforgettable, and deepen your connections. Why? Storytelling is so powerful. Think about the last time you were captivated by someone's story. Maybe it was a funny anecdote, a personal challenge overcome, or a vivid memory. Stories create emotional resonance. They engage both the logical and emotional parts of the brain. They turn listeners into participants. When you tell a story, you invite people into your world. You make your message relatable and memorable. You build trust through vulnerability and authenticity. Simply put, stories make you human, and people are naturally drawn to humanity, the elements of a magnetic story. Not all stories are created equal. To be magnetic, your stories need a few essential ingredients. 1. Relatability. Your story should connect to something your audience knows or feels. It doesn't have to be exactly the same experience, but the emotions, challenges, or lessons should resonate. For example, instead of saying, "I ran a marathon," say, "I faced a moment when I thought I couldn't go on, but I found a way." That feeling of struggle and triumph connects universally. Point 2. Emotional impact. Stories that evoke emotion, whether laughter, sadness, surprise, or hope, are unforgettable. Don't just share facts. Share feelings. Describe the sights, sounds, and emotions you experienced. Paint a picture with your words. Point 3. Conflict and resolution. Every good story has tension, a problem or obstacle, and a resolution. Conflict creates suspense. Resolution brings relief and satisfaction. This structure keeps people hooked and makes your message clear. Point 4. Simplicity and clarity. Don't overload your story with unnecessary details. Focus on the core message and keep your story easy to follow. 2. Much complexity loses attention. Point 5. Authenticity. People can sense when a story is genuine. Be honest about your mistakes and vulnerabilities. Authenticity builds trust and likability. How to tell your story like a pro. Once you have a great story, the way you tell it matters just as much. Point 1. Start strong. Grab attention in the first few seconds. Use an intriguing hook, a question, a bold statement, or a vivid image. For example, "I never thought a simple conversation would change my life, but it did." 2. Use vivid language. Engage the senses. Describe what you saw, heard, felt, tasted, or smelled. Instead of "I was nervous," say "My heart pounded like a drum, my palms slick with sweat." 3. Pace yourself. Don't rush. Pause for effect, especially before key points. Use variation in your tone and volume to keep listeners engaged. Point 4. Make eye contact when telling stories in person. Eye contact builds connection and trust. For AI narration, imagine speaking as if to a close friend. Warm and sincere. Point 5. Include dialogue. Adding conversations makes stories dynamic. Use quotes or mimic voices to bring characters alive. Practice makes perfect. Like any skill, storytelling improves with practice. Start by sharing small stories in everyday conversations. Notice what makes people lean in or smile. Record yourself telling a story, then listen back. Ask, did I sound natural? Was my message clear? Did I connect emotionally? Over time, you'll develop your unique storytelling style. Using storytelling to build connection stories creates shared experience. When you tell a story, you invite others to open up. Ask questions like, have you ever felt that way? Or what would you have done? This transforms one-sided storytelling into a shared journey. Storytelling in different contexts in networking. Share a brief personal story to break the ice. At work, use stories to illustrate ideas and inspire your team. In friendships, share memories to deepen bonds. On social media, tell stories that showcase your values and personality. Beware of overdoing it. Magnetic storytelling isn't about dominating every conversation. Be mindful of timing and audience. Not every moment is a story moment. Balance stories with listening and genuine interest in others. Final thoughts for this chapter: storytelling is your secret weapon for becoming unforgettable. The IT humanizes you, creates emotional bridges, and invites others into your world. The more you tell your stories with authenticity and passion, the more magnetic you become. Chapter 8. Influence without trying. True influence doesn't require effort. It doesn't come from pushing, persuading, or proving yourself. Real influence is quiet. It's subtle, and it begins the moment people start listening to you, not because they have to, but because they want to. We've all met people like this. They speak softly, but we lean in. They make a simple observation, and we remember it. They enter a room, and the atmosphere shifts, not because they demanded attention, but because their presence earned it. In this chapter, you'll learn how to become influential, not by trying harder, but by embodying certain qualities that naturally attract attention, respect, and trust. This is the art of influence. Without trying, redefining influence. Most people think of influence as persuasion, convincing someone to say yes, to follow, to buy, to believe. But magnetic influence is something deeper. It's about alignment. It's when your words, your energy, and your actions all send a clear message. I know who I am, and I stand for something. People are drawn to clarity, to conviction, to inner steadiness. And when they feel that in you, they begin to trust your direction, often without you saying a word. You don't have to shout. You don't have to impress. You simply have to be congruent, authentic, intentional, and consistent. That's what makes people follow you without being asked. The foundation of silent influence. Let's explore the traits and habits that build effortless influence. 1. Be grounded in your presence. People are drawn to calm energy. When you walk into a room with ease, unrushed, steady, and present, you create a ripple effect. Others feel your peace. And in a world of stress and noise, calmness becomes captivating. Try this. Before entering any interaction, take a deep breath. Feel your body. Let go of the need to impress. Just be here, fully. Presence speaks louder than any pitch point. 2. Speak less, say more. Influential people don't talk to fill silence. They speak with purpose. Their words are simple, clear, and often fewer than expected. But those words carry weight because they're thoughtful. When you speak less, people lean in. They trust that what you say matters. Try this. Instead of rushing to respond, pause. Then speak slowly, clearly, and directly. This small shift increases your authority and impact. Point 3. Be consistent in your behavior. People trust what they can predict. When your actions align with your words, and your words stay aligned over time, you become someone others rely on. You don't need to convince anyone. Your consistency does it for you. Show up on time. Keep your promises. Speak the same way, whether you're with a boss or a stranger. This quiet integrity is rare and powerful. The influence of listening. Most people think they gain influence by speaking well, but they build it by listening deeply. When you truly listen to someone, with full attention, no distractions, and no hidden agenda, they feel respected. And when people feel respected, they begin to trust you. They open up. They value your presence. This makes your feedback more welcome, your words more credible, and your presence more desirable. Try this. During your next conversation, say less. Ask more. Give your full attention, not just to the words, but to the feelings behind them. Watch how people begin to seek your opinion, not because you asked, but because you earned it. Influence is a reflection, not a projection. You don't influence others by projecting power. You influence by becoming a mirror of what they admire. People are drawn to those who reflect who they wish to be. Calm, wise, kind, centered, clear. When you become that mirror, you don't have to persuade anyone. They naturally want to follow your lead. This is why influence starts with self-mastery. The more at peace you are with yourself, the more others trust your guidance. Say what others are thinking, but afraid to say. Another form of silent influence is clarity and courage. Sometimes, in a room full of people, there's tension no one wants to name, or a truth everyone knows but avoids. When you speak that truth, not in judgment, but with calm clarity, you instantly earn credibility. You become a voice of honesty, a leader without title, a presence that others respect. Try this. If you sense something unspoken in the room, ask a gentle but direct question. Can we talk about the tension we're all sensing? Or is anyone else feeling uncertain about this direction? Truth cuts through noise, and those who speak it with grace become natural influencers. Focus on impact, not impression. Trying to impress people drains your energy and lowers your magnetism. But when you focus on impact, how you can add value, solve problems, support others, you naturally stand out. Influence is never about making it about you. It's about being so secure in yourself that you can make it about them. Ask yourself, what does this person need right now? How can I help them feel seen, understood, or empowered? What's the real value I bring to this moment? This shift from ego to service transforms how people receive you. You stop trying to be interesting and become interested. And that's where influence grows. Influence grows through your energy. People don't just respond to your words. They respond to your energy. When your energy is grounded, calm, and curious, you become magnetic. When your energy is frantic, needy, or anxious, you repel. So monitor the energy you bring into a room. Are you tense or relaxed? Are you performing or connecting? Are you leading with ego or with presence? Mastering your internal energy is the key to quiet power. How to build influence in any environment, whether you're in a meeting, a gathering, or a casual conversation. Here's a quick guide to influencing naturally. 1. Observe first. Speak second. Take in the mood, the tone, the energy of the room. Listen for what's not being said. When you speak from awareness, your words hit deeper. Point 2. Lead by example, not explanation. Preach. Live your values. Be the calm in chaos. Be the integrity in confusion. Be the kindness in coldness. Your example becomes your loudest message. Point 3. Respond instead of react. When someone criticizes or challenges you, don't react emotionally. Pause. Breathe. Respond with curiosity or grace. This emotional maturity earns lasting respect. Final thoughts. For this chapter, you don't need to chase influence. You need to embody it. You influence others most when you aren't trying to. When you show up aligned, authentic, grounded, and when your presence gives more than it takes. That's the kind of influence that lasts. That's the kind of magnetism that multiplies. Chapter 9. Attracting the right people into your life. It's one thing to be liked by everyone. It's another to be surrounded by people who actually lift you higher, support your vision, and help you grow. Becoming a people magnet isn't just about attracting anyone. It's about attracting the right people. The ones who align with your values, respect your boundaries, celebrate your progress, and challenge you to become your best self. In this chapter, we'll explore how to shift your energy, your standards, and your self-awareness to naturally draw in the kind of people who truly belong in your life. Because when your circle aligns with your purpose, everything becomes lighter, clearer, and more meaningful. You attract what you project. The first truth to understand is simple, yet powerful. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. If you want people who are kind, confident, emotionally available, supportive, and inspiring, you must embody those same traits. Your energy speaks louder than your words. Your standards set the tone for your relationships, and your self-worth acts like a filter, deciding who gets close and who doesn't. So if your current circle feels draining, unsupportive, or out of sync, it may be time to take an honest look inward, because change doesn't start with finding better people. It starts with becoming the version of yourself that the right people recognize, respect, and are drawn to. Clarity. Know who you want around you. If you don't know what you're looking for, you'll keep accepting whatever shows up. That's why clarity is the first step. Ask yourself, What qualities do I want in the people around me? What kind of energy do I want to experience in my daily interactions? What do I want to feel? Safe, inspired, challenged, respected? Define your ideal relationships, not based on fantasy, but based on how you want to grow. When you get clear, you stop settling. You stop chasing. You start attracting, because now you can recognize who fits and who doesn't, without guilt, drama, or confusion. Boundaries. Your magnetic filter boundaries aren't walls. They're filters. They keep in what nourishes you and keep out what drains you. The right people will respect your boundaries. The wrong ones will resist, test, or ignore them to be why honoring your own limits. Emotionally, mentally, and even energetically, you send a clear message. I value myself, and I expect to be treated with the same respect I give. This silent confidence is magnetic. It naturally draws people who operate at the same frequency, and the ones who don't, they fade away. Not because you pushed them, but because you stopped lowering your standards to make them stay. Let go of the need. To please. People pleasing is often a survival strategy. It's rooted in the fear of rejection, the desire to be liked, or the habit of self-abandonment. But here's the truth. The more you try to be everything to everyone, the less you attract the ones who truly see you. The right people don't need you to shrink, silence yourself, or sacrifice your needs. They love your fullness. They welcome your truth. They don't flinch when you speak up, say no, or stand out. When you stop people-pleasing, you stop diluting your energy. You become more you, and that's what makes you magnetic to the people meant for you. Recognizing the wrong people without shame. Attracting the right people also means being able to spot the wrong ones early and clearly. Pay attention to people who constantly take, but rarely give. People who thrive on drama, gossip, or manipulation. People who make you question your worth or walk on eggshells. People who only show up when they need something. People who resist your boundaries or drain your energy. It's okay to outgrow people. It's okay to wish them well and still choose distance. Letting go doesn't mean you're cruel. It means you're choosing peace. And peace is the soil where the right people grow. Magnetic self-worth, the most attractive energy in the world, is someone who is at peace with themselves. That self-worth is not arrogance. It's quiet, steady, rooted. It says, I know I have value. I don't need to prove it. When you carry that energy, people notice. Not just any people, the right people. You stop seeking validation because you're already validated within. You stop chasing love because you've learned to give it to yourself first. And from that place of wholeness, the people who belong in your life begin to find their way to you. Without effort, games, or masks. Raise your standards, don't lower your vibe. Many people lower their standards to keep someone close. They tolerate red flags, overlook poor communication, or excuse bad behavior just to avoid being alone. But here's the paradox. The moment you raise your standards, the right people start appearing. That it's not magic, it's alignment. That you're finally saying no to what doesn't serve you and yes to what does. You're creating space, and that space becomes an open door. Remember, you don't find your people by being agreeable. You find them by being authentic. Energy speaks first. You don't have to explain who you are to the right people. They feel you. Your energy, calm, confident, kind, draws in what matches it.so. Focus on becoming the kind of person you want to meet. Be a safe space, be a source of encouragement, be generous with kindness, be clear about your values, be the kind of friend or partner you desire. And as your energy shifts, your environment shifts too. Detachment. The final magnetic tool. Let go of the desperate need to find the right people. Desperation repels. Wholeness attracts. When you become grounded in who you are, you trust that the right people will arrive at the right time. You no longer chase. You align. Detachment is not indifference. It's deep trust. It's the confidence that says, I don't have to force anything real. And when people feel that grounded energy, they respect it. They're drawn to it. They want to be around it. Final thoughts for this chapter. You don't need more people. You need the right people. And the way to attract them isn't through effort, performance, or control. It's through clarity, authenticity, boundaries, and a deep sense of self-worth. Become who you're looking for. And the people who are meant for you will arrive. Not because you begged, but because you align. That's the power of true magnetism. Chapter 10. Habits of highly magnetic people. Magnetism is not a gift you're born with. It's not about being the loudest in the room or the most charming person in the group, that it's a result of habits, small, consistent behaviors that, over time, shape your energy, presence, and influence. Highly magnetic people don't rely on tricks or tactics. They move through the world in a way that makes others feel seen, heard, and inspired. In this chapter, you'll discover the daily habits that make some individuals effortlessly captivating and how you can start practicing them today. Because magnetism isn't an act, it's a lifestyle. Point 1. They start with inner alignment. Magnetic people know who they are. They don't chase approval or mold themselves to fit into every room they enter. Instead, they ask, what do I value? What do I stand for? Am I being true to myself in this moment? They've done the inner work. They show up with clarity and integrity, and people trust them because of it. Start each day by asking, am I living in alignment with my values? This one habit grounds your energy and makes your presence feel authentic, not forced. Point 2. They are present in every interaction. Magnetic people don't rush through conversations. They're not half listening, distracted, or looking over your shoulder. They're here, with you. Their full attention is rare, and that's what makes it so powerful. Practice this. Put down your phone when someone speaks. Make eye contact. Listen without interrupting. Reflect what you hear. Presence is rare and deeply attractive. Point 3. They speak with purpose, not performance. Charisma doesn't come from saying a lot. It comes from saying what matters, clearly and sincerely. Highly magnetic people speak with intention. They don't overshare. They don't gossip. They choose words that build, not break. Before speaking, they pause. They consider, is this kind? Is this helpful? Is this true? This habit makes their communication clean, respectful, and trusted. Point 4. They regulate their energy. Energy is contagious. People who are consistently anxious, angry, or negative, whether they realize it or not, drain those around them. But magnetic people know how to manage their emotions. They don't suppress them, they process them. They breathe through stress. They center themselves before reacting. That you'll often notice they exude calm even in chaos. Try this. Start your day with 5 minutes of quiet stillness. Check in with yourself. This daily reset keeps your energy grounded and makes you a calming presence for others. Point 5. They practice warm body language. Nonverbal cues matter more than words. Highly magnetic people use body language that says, you're safe with me. They stand open. They lean in when listening. They smile with their whole face. Their gestures are relaxed, not rigid. Their tone is gentle, not overpowering. This physical ease puts others at ease. Point 1. Daily habit to try. Practice walking into rooms with shoulders relaxed, chin up, and a soft smile. Notice how people respond differently to your energy. Point 6. They stay curious about others. Magnetic people don't make conversations about themselves. They're not obsessed with being interesting. They're genuinely interested. They ask thoughtful questions like, what inspired you to do that? How did that make you feel? What do you love most about it? And then they actually listen. This curiosity builds trust, connection, and warmth. Make it a habit to ask at least one meaningful question in every conversation. You'll leave people feeling understood, and they'll want to be around you again. Point 7. They celebrate others. Without competing. Insecure people compete. Magnetic people celebrate. When someone shares good news, magnetic individuals don't deflect or one-up. They cheer genuinely. They make others feel proud to shine. They give compliments freely, but sincerely. And they share opportunities, not just opinions. A simple habit. Each day, compliment at least one person on something meaningful, not just their looks, but their character, effort, or growth. Lifting others lifts your own presence. 2.8. They keep their word. Even on small things. Trust builds magnetism, and trust is built through follow-through. Magnetic people don't just talk about what they'll do, they do it. If they say they'll call, they do. If they commit, they follow through. Even in the small stuff. This reliability makes others feel safe. And safety is the foundation of strong attraction. Daily habit. Review your promises, big and small. Keep them. Or communicate clearly if something changes. Your consistency becomes your silent power. Point 9. They carry lightness, not heaviness. Life is serious, but magnetic people don't carry that weight into every room. They bring lightness, humor, and ease. They can laugh at themselves. They tell stories with warmth. They find joy in small things. This light energy doesn't mean being silly or shallow. It means being approachable. Try this. Smile when you greet people. Find something to enjoy in every conversation. Your lightness will leave a lasting impression. Point 10. They protect their peace. Perhaps the most overlooked habit of magnetic people is this. They protect their inner peace. They don't allow toxic conversations, chaotic environments, or drama-driven people to pull them in. They value calm. They rest. They say no when needed. They create space to recharge because they know to give light, you must protect your flame. Your peace is part of your magnetism. Guard it well. Magnetic people aren't perfect. They're just consistent. None of these habits require perfection. You don't need to be flawless. You just need to be consistent. Magnetism is not a performance. It's a practice. It's a way of moving through the world with awareness, presence, and kindness. And every time you practice one of these habits, you're building a stronger, more authentic version of yourself, that a version that people want to know, trust, and be around. Final thoughts for this chapter. Highly magnetic people don't rely on status, looks, or luck. They simply live differently. They make others feel good because they feel good within themselves. You can become that person. Start small. Pick 2 or 3 of these habits and practice them daily. Build momentum. Watch what happens. People will notice. They'll lean in. They'll want to be part of your world. Not because you forced it, but because you invited it through who you are. That's true magnetism. Conclusion. You were magnetic all along. From the very beginning. There was something in you that people could feel. That it wasn't loud. It didn't need to shout, but it was there, waiting, quietly powerful, deeply real. That something is your natural magnetism. And here's the truth you've been journeying toward this whole time. You were magnetic all along. You didn't need to become someone else. You didn't need to adopt a new personality, wear a different face, or chase popularity. What you needed was to remember your worth, your presence, your voice, to reconnect with the calm power that lives beneath the noise. All the principles we've explored, the magnetic mindset, deep listening, emotional intelligence, body language, storytelling, influence, and authentic connection, are tools. But tools don't create worth. They reveal it. They help you strip away the layers of fear, insecurity, and doubt that have kept your brilliance dimmed. And now, you're seeing clearly. The real magnetism was never about impressing others. It was about being yourself, fully, confidently, and without apology. You are enough. Just as you are, people are drawn to realness, to warmth, to truth. You don't need perfect timing, flawless words, or constant validation. You simply need to show up, present, kind, and aligned. That you're not here to compete with others. You're here to connect, to shine in your own way, to hold space for others to shine, too. Because the most magnetic people are those who allow others to feel seen, safe, and significant in their presence. And that begins with how you treat yourself. Let the right people find you. You no longer need to chase people, attention, or approval. You no longer need to fit in where you don't feel at home. When you live in alignment with your values, walk in confidence, and stay rooted in self-worth, the right people find you. The right opportunities arrive. The right connections grow, organically, honestly, and joyfully. Because real magnetism doesn't grab. It attracts. Naturally. Effortlessly. Authentically. Your presence is a gift. Every room you enter, every person you meet, every moment you share, you have the chance to make someone feel better. Not by performing, but by being kind, being real, being fully you. That's what changes lives. That's what builds trust. That's what creates legacy. The greatest gift you can offer the world is your presence, clear, calm, and true. And that presence is now stronger than ever. Your journey has just begun. You've reached the end of this book, but this is not the end of your story. This is your beginning. A new chapter in how you show up, how you connect, and how you lead with quiet strength. So walk forward with a gentle smile. Take the habits, insights, and mindset you've gained and live them. Breathe life into them through action, intention, and love. Because when you do, you'll become a living reminder to others of what's possible. That a reminder that we don't have to shout to be heard. We don't have to impress to be loved. We don't have to change who we are to be deeply wanted. We simply have to be, with courage and grace. The final reminder: you are already magnetic. You always were. Now you know how to let that magnetism shine. Clearly, confidently, and quietly powerful. So go ahead. Step into rooms with peace in your eyes. Speak with intention. Lead with your heart. And trust that who you are is more than enough, because it is, and the world has been waiting for the real you.